welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for week 3 Premier League fixtures. And yet again, we had some superb games over the weekend. We literally saw Romelu Lukaku score his debut goal for Chelsea, even though he's played for them twice. We literally saw Man City thrash Norwich here, a relegation contender, 5-0. We literally see Liverpool get the revenge this season compared to last season, beating Burnley 2-0. Man United, the so-called title contenders, dropping points to Southampton, even though they thrashed them last year. Literally, we've had so many good games, and like I always say, let's hope for another amazing set of fixtures this weekend. And it looks spicy because we've got Liverpool v Chelsea, both title contenders. We have Arsenal trying to bounce back, get their first points of the season, facing Man City, the Premier League champions. We've got Tottenham, who've won 2 games in a row. Can they make it 3 against Watford? But yeah, such an amazing set of games this weekend. And let's just hope for more goals and more drama. But before going to this video and give my predictions, make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there. And make sure you give me your predictions. Who's going to win this weekend? Can Chelsea beat Liverpool? Can Man United get their revenge and beat Wolves as well? What's going to happen? Let me know in the comments. But make sure you guys subscribe. I'm nearly at 700 subscribers. So just hit that big subscribe button if it's not that much of a hassle. So the first game I'm going to be predicting is Liverpool versus Chelsea. And yes, both teams look like the most likely teams to compete with Man City to win the Premier League title this season. Both teams have had an amazing, great start. Both teams been able to keep clean sheets in their first 2 games. Both teams winning their first 2 games. So it looks like a good contest between these 2 sides, especially since Chelsea are champions of Europe, and especially since Liverpool have their best players back like Van Dijk. So let's hope for great games between these 2 sides, but let's just hope for a Liverpool win. But let me just start with Chelsea. Romelu Lukaku absolutely tortured and bullied the poor Arsenal side. And I know people say it's only Arsenal. Arsenal are only a mid-table / relegation side. But let's be honest, yeah. Arsenal are still Arsenal, especially when they turn up against Chelsea. They always do. So at least Chelsea were able to defeat their bogey team. And the way they done it was Lukaku was absolutely powerful, steamrolling, bullying Mari and the other centre-back, literally picking the ball up, has his back to goal, showing that he's actually more of a polished striker than he was when he last came into the Premier League when he was at Man United. So let's see if he can keep this up. And it's going to be a great contest between him and Van Dijk, the best centre-back in the world. Let's see who's going to win this duel if Lukaku's literally on Van Dijk's side. So this is set for a major contest between these 2 great individual players. But in terms of this game, I don't think Chelsea are going to have their way against Liverpool as they did against Crystal Palace and Arsenal, because obviously Liverpool are a superior side compared to those 2 teams, and they're at home and they finally got their crowd back. Let's see what Liverpool are made of this season with the fans and with Van Dijk. But in terms of Chelsea, let me just focus on them first, because we know they beat Liverpool last season, obviously behind closed doors, but still they beat Liverpool fair and square 1-0, and it looked like they deserved to win because they defended very, very well. But because Romelu Lukaku is now injected within the side and he scored his first goal, what are Chelsea going to do? Because even without Romelu Lukaku last season, they were able to score enough goals to beat the major sides like Real Madrid, Man City, twice semi-finals and the final of the Champions League. So they know what it takes to beat major sides. Even Liverpool at Anfield last year, playing Werner through the middle. Because we know Liverpool are going to have that high line with Van Dijk and Matip and rely on their pace, going in behind just in case there's an over-the-top ball to Jorginho. But is Lukaku and Werner going to play at the same time? Because if they do, who's going to be that creative spark? Is that going to be too much emphasis on someone like Havertz or Mount to literally rely on them for every single time they get the ball to counter-attack? Or will Lukaku have to be dropped? Because we know that Chelsea don't need him in terms of the big, massive games. They probably need him against the smaller sides where it's going to be tight and compact and they need a finisher to have one chance. So this is a major talking point for Tuchel. Obviously, it's going to be hard to drop Lukaku, your record signing, and who just scored against Arsenal in his first game. But at the same time, we know Werner, although he's not as clinical as him, he does give an overall great performance and is always involved in a goal to make sure Chelsea win the important game against the big side. So that's a major talking point. And I think because of this, Thomas Tuchel is caught in the catch-22 where it's going to be hard to actually make a decision in terms of this. But in terms of Liverpool, obviously back-to-back victories, like I said. Van Dijk showed that he can handle Chris Wood, he can handle the physicality, and I know Lukaku is a better striker than Chris Wood all around, but he's shown that he's up for the physical battles, and we always know Van Dijk's up for the physical battles. But my key worry, like last week, was that obviously he just got injured for a whole year last season, so I don't know if it would have been too much to ask for so early on for him to endure these sort of battles. But it looks like he's dealt with it no problem, and I also think he's going to be able to be up for this battle against Lukaku. But I think Liverpool are just too strong. I'm not trying to be biased, I'm just speaking facts. I feel like Liverpool, Salah, Mane, Jota, they're scoring goals again compared to last season where we couldn't even buy a goal at home. It looks like we scored 2 goals and we should even score more against Burnley, let's be honest. And I know Chelsea are great defensively, but I still feel like Liverpool have the world-class forwards to really, really danger Chelsea and literally put them under pressure to score a goal. And like I said earlier, it's not going to be like last season. If Liverpool have bad spells throughout this game at Anfield, bet you believe that the Anfield fans are going to back Liverpool and get the players to have that extra 10 to 20%, which they were missing throughout the whole of last season, especially in games when they really, really needed it. So in terms of this game, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Manchester City versus Arsenal. And oh my God, Arsenal, where do I even start? 19th in the Premier League table. Who would have thought? Let's be honest, we all thought this, because I thought they were going to lose to Brentford, and obviously I thought they were going to lose at home to the European champions Chelsea. And where do I start? 0 goals scored, 4 goals conceded, I think, or 3 goals conceded. Literally losing at home, losing away. Like, where are they going to get their next points? Like, honestly, like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but where are they actually going to get their next points from? Because they're versus Man City, the literal champions of England, next game. And when was the last time they beat Man City? 6 or 5 years ago, when Arsene Wenger was literally managing Arsenal. It was 5 to 6 years ago. So literally nothing's going right for Arsenal. But let's be honest, they were so poor against Chelsea, and the only highlight I can say is maybe, just maybe, we see them getting bullied by Ivan Toney, and we saw them getting bullied by Lukaku. Because Man City do not play a number 9, they do play Jesus, but they do not play an out-and-out number 9, like Lukaku or Ivan Toney, who's physical, who's going to cause Arsenal defenders problems. Maybe it's going to literally suit Arsenal, because they're not up for the aerial battle compared to these players. Man City are going to play on the ground, interchanging, link-up play. They're going to be floating around with their career midfielders. So maybe this will suit Arsenal. And maybe Arsenal should play a defensive-minded formation, which we know Arteta likes to do against Man City, and play 3 midfielders to literally combat this. But let's be honest, over 90 minutes, do you really trust Arsenal not to make one mistake throughout the game? Like we saw against Chelsea, where Reece James had so much acres of space. One of these creative Man City players are going to have space, and they're going to punish Arsenal. Man City are literally coming off a great victory against Norwich 5-0. Like I said, which will happen. We saw Grealish get his first goal, Sterling scoring again, Jesus showing that maybe he could be the potential replacement for Aguero, since they're not going to sign Harry Kane. So always looking well at Man City so far. And when it comes to Arsenal, we know it's men against boys. We know Man City always have their fun and their way against Arsenal. Arsenal's confidence is low, especially if Man City score first. You really think they're going to have the confidence or the self-belief, especially since their poor record against Man City, and especially since, when was the last time they actually won a game in the Premier League? They're not going to have the character. They don't have any leaders within that side. Aubameyang in and out of the side. They've had injuries. So what? They're going to play the kids again, like Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, who are fighting, but obviously they're not going to be able to beat a talented side like Man City. So in terms of this game, I don't see anything but a Manchester City win. It's going to be a thrashing, and Man City are going to be wanting to climb the table, especially since Liverpool and Chelsea have 6 points already. So I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory for Manchester City. Fairly simple. So the next game we're going to be predicting is Wolves versus Manchester United. And I told you, Manchester United fans, I feel like Man United fans were getting carried away. Varane getting revealed, literally at the Old Trafford Stadium. Sancho on the bench coming on for the last 15 minutes, destroying Leeds 5-1. But you're brought back into reality like I said you would. Literally drawing to Southampton 1-1 when you had Man United fans getting carried away that you're going to win literally a thrashing like last year, 9-0, maybe not 9-0, but 3 or 4-0. I did tell you, even though I did predict Man United to win, I did say it was going to be a tight, close affair like we just saw. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, what is he doing? What is he actually doing as a manager? I'm trying to tell you, I said it once and I'll say it again, not only will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer never win the Premier League for Manchester United, he will never win a trophy for Manchester United. This guy, you'd think, being gifted the opportunity of a lifetime, managing his favourite club, the club he played for, the club he won the Champions League for, he would understand the nature and the DNA of the club. You'd think he'd play attacking football, but he's so overly cautious against Southampton. How are you playing a midfield of Matic and Fred together? It makes no sense. These guys are finished. They're not good enough for Manchester United. Why are you not playing someone like Van der Beek and you see an injured McTominay and you see Lingard coming in before him? What are you doing, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And you're playing against a Wolves side this weekend who are literally keeping the same structure of a 3-4-3, and although they've lost their opening 2 games, they've only lost by 1-0. It's not like they've been blown out the water. So literally, you're going against a difficult Wolves side who are going to be tight and compact and are going to look to hit Man United on the break with players like Traore. And if you're going to play 2 CDMs like McTominay and Fred, or McTominay and Matic, or any of these guys, you're going to lose that creative spark in that midfield which you desperately need. It's either you drag Pogba back into the CDM role, where we know he's better on the left-hand side, or you play Van der Beek there, or you try something new. But despite all this negativity, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will wake up. He will start Varane, and if you start Varane, you must start someone like Van der Beek, someone ahead of him, because Man United should be defensively strong enough not to rely on 2 holding midfielders against Wolves away from home. So if this is going to happen, you might have to start someone like Sancho on the right hand side, push Greenwood back to striker, and I did not understand in the life of me why he was changed from a striker to a right midfielder to accommodate Martial when he didn't even start the first game, when we were all getting hyped that Greenwood was going to be potentially Man United's new striker. I don't know why Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did that himself. But yeah, despite all of this, I think Man United will just have enough quality to see through this game against Wolves, especially since there have been 27 games undefeated away from home. I'm not going to predict Man United to lose, and I think they'll be able to scrape this victory 2-1 against Wolves, who are still yet to win their first game this season. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Brighton versus Everton, and look what's happening. Brighton have won their 2 opening games, literally against Watford and Burnley. And although they're games you expected them to win, I'm so glad that they're playing football the right way, people will say, and playing attacking football, showing that other sides in and around the relegation area that you can actually play your style of football and can get results. And the biggest issue with this Potter style of football is that you weren't going to get enough goals, because although Trossard and all these other good silky players are going to create the chances for the striker, they were never finishing off the chances these silky midfielders were creating, and they had a lot of chances. Obviously, Danny Welbeck has been injured, going to come back after the international break, but at least now we see Mopey, who scored 2 out of his 2 opening games, scoring both goals. Hopefully, he has the confidence going into the game against Everton to score enough goals. But in the game against Everton, I think they're going to dominate possession, because obviously, you know, Rafa Benitez has to be organised, structured. He will let literally Brighton have bulks of the ball and literally counter-attack them when they have the opportunity. Players like Richarlison playing alongside Calvert-Lewin to make sure they have a deadly duo partnership. But in terms of this game, I just think Brighton's going to be able to win one more, man. And I'm not even trying to say this as a Liverpool fan. It's exciting to see them play football. And I think they're going to continue this good spirit into the international break and be able to beat Everton just about. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. Although Benitez has shown some signs that defensively they're looking a little bit better, but they've still conceded, 2 goals in their last game against Leeds, and then you had 1 goal, that sloppy goal. Michael Keane literally led to the goal for Adams, I think, to score the goal, or Armstrong. So yeah, Everton are still making sloppy mistakes. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Spurs versus Watford. And if you saw the stats against the teams against Man City and Wolves, you would have thought that Spurs got destroyed. But somehow they've escaped with 3 points both times. And some fans will call it lucky, but some fans, especially Tottenham, will say luck is the residue of design, that they deserve these victories. That although they've been dominating some games, although they've had 40 to 35% of possession in these games, the fact that they've showed character and heart to stay within these games and pick up points, that shows much more determination and shows much more guts compared to winning 3-0 comfortably against Wolves. So if they're keeping clean sheets, they're going to be able to potentially get into a top 4 race. Because if you keep a clean sheet, obviously you're not going to lose the game. So let's see if Spurs can keep this up. And I think they're going to be able to, because it looks like they're having enough firepower in the final third. We have Harry Kane coming back, who doesn't look like he's going to leave Tottenham. Then you have Son, you have Dele Alli looking rejuvenated, scoring the penalty, looking confident out there on the pitch. So let's see if Spurs can keep this up. They're versing the Watford side, who obviously won the first game tremendously. Although they conceded 2 goals, not going to be too happy about that. But they beat Aston Villa, and they lost against Brighton, not showing that much, creativity within the final third or creating that many chances to score goals. Lost against Brighton 2-0. And this game against Spurs, this is not what their season's about. They're not going to be judged against a team like Spurs. Obviously, teams in and around the relegation fight or even the mid-table side, that's where they're going to be truly looking to strike. But in terms of this game, they still have a good chance, because we know Davinson Sanchez and we know Dyer can get it taken advantage over. So in terms of this game, I think Spurs will complete the hat-trick. I think they're going to win 1-0 yet again. And going into the international break, people are actually going to be surprised that Nuno's doing a decent job. But let's see when the wheels unfold.